Hello friends. So I am back with my next lecture on comparison of Indian Constitution with Russian Constitution. So in the last lecture we have studied about the comparison of Indian Constitution with French Constitution, and in the series of lectures we will study now the Russian Constitution comparison with Indian Constitution. In the next lecture we will study about the German Constitution and so on. So starting with the lecture. Initially we'll study the similarities between Indian and Russian Constitution. So sorry. So both Indian and Russian constitution are written constitution, and Indian the head of state of India is president, who is indirectly elected, but in Russia the president is directly elected. So the party will stand their members in the election, and the person who is elected by the Russian people will then be appointed by the Federation Council. Okay, so India and Russia both have the elected president as the head of the state. But the difference is here the president is indirectly elected, while in Russia the president is directly elected. Separation of powers. There are strict separation of powers in Russia between different organs of government, that is legislative, executive and judiciary, just like in India. In India we have some overlapping between legislative and executive, legislature and executive, but there's strict separation of powers between different organs in Russia. Other similarities, as you already know, that the ideals of social, political, and economic justice we have borrowed from Russian constitution. Just like in French, we have borrowed the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Here, socio, economic, and political, and the idea of fundamental duties. Okay, so that is also we have borrowed from part four. This one, part 4th A, which is the fundamental duties. So we have borrowed from Russian constitution. So both in India and Russia we have fundamental duties in the constitution, written in the constitution itself. Now what are the differences? Differences are authority. PM, here PM is the real authority, executive authority, while in Russia the president is the real executive authority, just like in France. So similar similar authority lies in France as well as in Russia. Term of president, here it is 5 years, France 5 years, but in Russia it is 6 years. And powers of president, here in India the president works on the aid and advice of council of ministers, while in Russia president has unfettered powers, like Vladimir Putin, he has unfettered power, he has emergency powers, he has the real administrative power, he has the power to to press the nuclear button, so he can attack any country as per his or her wish. So he has unfettered powers in Russia, the president. While in India, the president works on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. Russia again, semi-presidential form. President is the real authority, but while there is a PM also, Prime Minister also in Russia, who is Dmitry Medvedev, who was the earlier president, and while in India it is parliamentary form. Here in India, Vice President assumes the power when President is absent due to any reason. So Vice President assumes the power of President, while in Russia PM assumes the power of President in the case of absence of President. Houses of Parliament, here we have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. There it is Federation Council and Duma in Russia. In India, it is the Lok Sabha who has the authority to vote for no confidence and oust the government if he loses the motion of no confidence. But in Russia, both the houses of parliament has the authority to vote for no confidence. Judiciary, we have integrated judiciary in India, while in Russia separate courts are there, Supreme Court as well as Constitutional Court. It is Supreme Court which is the highest court of law, while Constitutional Court hears the matters related to disputes between executive and legislative branch of government. So this is the major difference between India and Russia. In the next lecture, we will study about the India and German constitutional differences and similarities. Thank you very much.